Good evening, or whenever you're listening to this. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Random Thoughts. On this episode, I want to talk about my beef. I want to say beef with Kevin Hart. My issues with other people's beef with Kevin Hart. And it's not even a beef I have with them, what they have with Kevin Hart. Let me break it down. Recently, um, I was on Tony Baker's IG page. Tony Baker's comedian. Those you know, if you're listening to this, then you know who he is. And he was talking about something he was watching to where they was comparing rappers to comedians and talked about, Dave Chappelle would be one to go. I think they say Jay-Z or something. And one of them asked who Kevin Hart would be. And Tony said Kevin Hart would be Drake because he has massive hits and this and that. And, he rarely misses. And then you had a lot of people coming and they were disagreeing, but it wasn't based off of, and they did a thing to people that irritates me when people do this. When you'll say something, it's like, okay, this is what I believe, this is what I believe to be true based on this criteria. And somebody will say, I don't agree. And then they'll bring up stuff that has nothing to do with what you were talking about. It's like, I don't really think he's funny. Okay? But what does that have to do with the statement? What does that have to do with him having hits? It's like you not liking him does not what's the word I want to use? Does not factor into, as they say, cold hard numbers. And somebody's like, some people brought up like Cat Williams. It's like there's nothing Cat Williams has done that's been on the level of Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart has sold out arenas, performed at Madison Square Garden. Kevin Hart's comedy specials have been in movie theaters. People have spent money and gone to the movie theaters to watch his specials. I can't think of the last time you spent money to watch a comedian special at the movie theaters. And like I said, Madison Square Garden it's like a, I can't remember if that's where Eddie Murphy performed, but there's certain people. It's a very short list of comedians who have had that type of audience and had that type of thing, and people, whether you like his comedy or not, is irregardless of the man's success. Forgot to put a C in there. His success. And as I said, it's just kind of irritating because it seems like, and it also brings up a thing that irritates me, not just with Kevin Hart, but when people in general, it's always a thing of, it reminds me of the thing, some people are just watching you, waiting for you to fall or waiting for you to fail, or they're just waiting for you to get to a certain level. People talk about grinding, people talk about hard work, and people don't want to put the hard work in, and blah 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 blah. You have somebody who put the hard work in, who knows who he is. Because here's another thing. Oh, he's not that funny for, hood people don't really mess with him. It's like, what does that have to do with? It's like, so hood people. It's like so hood people determine what's universally funny. It's like, oh, he's white people funny. A lot of black people like Kevin Hart. It's like that's the whole thing. Comparison to Drake is that he has universal appeal. And you could talk about Cat Williams, like, oh, he's this and this. It's like, okay, but he's not on the level of Kevin Hart. He's just not. You may think he's funnier, but as I said, he hasn't done anything on the level of Kevin Hart, and not consistently. That's another thing. He has not been consistent with his success. Like he had the Pimp Chronicles. Those were hilarious. Those were great. After that, you didn't really see or hear anything. And some people was trying to, like, it's like, yeah, there was no movies that you really saw that was like, you went to see for Kevin Hart. It's like, well, Kevin Hart has led movies, blockbuster movies, the ride along movies. the movies he's had with The Rock, the both Jumanji movies. Was it Confidential? I can't think of the first one, but another like spy type movie with The Rock. Um, he was one of the main characters. Think like him. He's been the quote unquote lead in more movies than Cat Williams has been in a supporting character at best. You know, like nobody is going. I want somebody to find me a movie that is starring Cat Williams to where people have been like, yeah, we went to the theaters. We paid money to go to the theaters. And that's another thing. We paid money to some type of retailer, either Amazon or somebody, and not somebody who got a bootleg or whatever, or we Fire Stick, whatever, and watch this man lead a movie. And I know somebody else I was talking to, they brought up Chris Rock, and it's like, Chris Rock is also a legend. He's also great. I love Chris Rock. Chris Rock has also not been as consistent as, I won't say he hasn't been as consistent, but the volume that Kevin Hart has put out is more than Chris Rock has. Kevin Hart consistently puts out content, which for some people is like, well, that's why they're tired of him. And it's like, well, you don't have to watch everything he puts out, but I get the thing of you're tired of seeing somebody in something. I also forgot about the movies that he's had with Will Ferrell, movies he had with Bryan Cranston, because some people act as if he hasn't done other things besides just goofy movies. He's done other things. His most recent being the True Story series he's had. Recent came out a couple months ago, or I think just last month, with him and Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes playing his brother. As it's a straight dramatic role, and it's most of the things, whether you feel his comedy isn't as funny as it used to be, which that's the kind of role I'm in. I still think he's funny. It's just that the specials that he's had recently, I have not enjoyed as much as some of the stuff in his earlier. But hell, Dave Chappelle is considered the GOAT. His last special, I did not find nowhere near as funny as some of the things that came before. It happens to everybody. There is nobody who you're going to find funny 100% all the time. And it is, like I said, it's a thing people seem to have against Kevin Hart. They like to say, oh, well, he's corny, he's this and he's that. And some people, it seemed like once he got to a level of once again, I almost messed that word up, success, it seems that it became the thing to not like Kevin Hart. Like, he was cool when he was coming up, and people, once again, say he's not hood funny. How many people say, oh, you're going to learn today? Like, the catch, there's phrases and stuff that he has said in some of his specials that people still say now. So you can't come at me with the, oh, he's corny or he's whatever. It's like, all right, but you using his stuff. Also, it's the whole thing of kind of like Tyler Perry. It's like, you may not like everything they do. It's like, but you have to respect the hustle. You have to respect the grind. As they say, people always want to talk about getting the bag or whatever. Here's a dude, he found his audience. He stuck with that. He made a brand. He has his own production company. He has his own, kind of quote unquote network. He is working. He is doing a lot. He has a thing to where now, if he wants to do something, he doesn't have to wait for somebody to give him that opportunity. He can just go and write it and do it and produce it himself. And like, isn't that the goal? To not have to wait for people, don't have to wait for Hollywood to give us a thing, do it ourselves. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. That's what he's produced. That's what he's doing. But for some reason, I don't know. It seems weird, the whole thing of, and it's also, once again, comedy is subjective, and some people can't subjectively be like me personally. I don't think Mike Epps is the funniest in the world. I'm not going to say that he's not funny. I'm not going to say that he's you know, uh, he doesn't deserve his success or whatever. He's just not the funniest to me. It's like I wouldn't, like I like Mike Epps. I wish him great success. I'm not gonna rush to see anything he's in. I wouldn't pay to see any of his specials. Um, and I find Kevin's comedy more relatable than his. Like I don't like the note. Sorry, this is kind of going to a different realm right here, but it irritates me the way, and this is just generalization. It irritates me when black people we say, "Oh, we don't like being lumped together. We don't like, you know, being told we're all like this, whatever." Yet some some black people act as if the whole, I guess the hood or the I don't want to say ghetto because I hate using that, but the whole hood aspect of comedy is something that's relatable to every black person. That every black person can relate to buying weed or doing whatever, or you know, um, it's just certain things that Sarah. I don't know if it's double standards. I don't know what it is, but it irks me. It's like, oh well, yeah, he's talking about that. That's real. It's like, well, Kev is talking about his life, and that's real to him. It's like I don't understand when being real meant something other than being who you are. Like Kev is not the quote unquote hood type of person, at least that, people want him to be. But for some reason that's him being himself is not real enough. Like he's been very open about his insecurities and different things, and uh how he's messed up relationships in the past and different things. It's like that's real. He's as one of his specials, Laugh at My Pain. He's talked about different things and with his mom and his dad, and it's funny. And then a lot of people want to talk about all he has is short jokes. It's like, and yeah, and all Cat Williams talks about is being a pimp or whatever. It's like there's certain things that people will say but don't hold it. They don't hold other comedians to that same standard they have to Kev as far as why they don't like him. And it's also funny to where it was like, man, I hadn't bothered listening to anything he had in X amount of years, but then they'll say all he does is do this. It's like, well, if you haven't listened to anything he's done in a while, how do you know that's all he does? Like he's could have moved on, he could have done something else, but you would know because you don't listen to it. And it's fine if you don't listen to it, but I don't know. I guess I've made my point. Ooh, cover my mouth. Why was I doing that? But I guess I've made my point. Like I said, it was just irritating to see, to go back to see Tony make a point, because once again, nobody could actually argue against the point that he made. That based on Kev's amount of hits, and one person even said, "Well, I disagree. I think it's Cat or blah 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 blah." But if you're going off the numbers, what the hell else would he be going off of? he he specifically said the amounts of hits and different things, and the person goes, "Well, I disagree." But if you're going off the numbers, what else would we be going off of? Is like he's been successful at all these things. Really has he had anything that's been a flop? Some things may not have been as successful as other things. It may not have been always received as well. Like I don't think Ride Along 2 did as well, or what have you. But they all made money. They were all successful in their own right. And we're just talking about money. We're just talking about numbers, just money. It's like you can say what you want to about his content or whatever, but as far as hits, as far as, him being successful in that realm, it's like Fast and the Furious. It's like Fast and the Furious makes money. It's just dumb, just stupid premise, that used to be about racing cars. Somehow these people with no type of military training, no type of counterintelligence training, these street racers, some of them, most of them, aren't even the best street racers. Let's talk about that for a second. Most of them aren't even the best street racers, but somehow, they've, I know, a complete different tangent, but they're not even the best street racers, but yet they are being tapped by the government. They're taking down spies. They're taking down legit terrorists. People are military trained who have killed people. These people are taking them down, taking them out. But we're willing to go off that because it makes money. Those movies are successful. You cannot deny that they are successful. Regardless of how you feel about it, they are successful. The same thing goes for Kevin. I went off on the tangent. I had to find my way back to it. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's my thing. People's whole "it's cool to hate on Kevin Hart" thing, and like I said, it's not even that I'm just the biggest Kevin Hart fan. It just seems like the way people go out of their way to be like, I don't even like dude, he's corny, and it's just the things, the reasonings for why he isn't good. Because it goes, it's one thing to say that they don't like somebody, fine, whatever. Number one, that wasn't even the question Tony was posing. Or whether you liked it or not, it was based off whatever. And then it's one of those things where somebody uses their quote unquote dislike of somebody to try to justify why somebody who is legit a hard worker doesn't deserve their success. I don't know. It kind of bothers me. I'm going on longer than I intended to, so I'm going to wrap it up right here. Thank you for listening. Check out my regular podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can find podcasts. Check out this and other videos I have posted on this channel, which of course you're listening to. Appreciate you all. Love you. Have a great day.